Stop scrolling. Santiago Bernabeu, April 2011. It's the 87th minute of a tense Champions League semifinal. Lionel Messi picks up the ball near midfield with 5 Real Madrid players between him and the goal. No tricks, no stepovers, just glides. A change of pace here, a shift of balance there. He goes past defenders like they aren't even there. What happens next? He slides the ball past Casillas with his weaker foot. The Bernabeu falls silent. Barcelona 2, Real Madrid 0. No flashy skills, just pure geometry, timing, and control. It was one of the greatest Champions League goals ever, and it broke every rule about how to take on defenders. Here's what nobody tells you about 1v1 situations. Professional defenders are trained to read body language, anticipate moves, and channel attackers into disadvantageous positions. They study video footage of opponents, memorize preferred directions, and practice specific countermeasures for common skills. Beating them requires more than just learning a few stepovers from YouTube. Last month, Barcelona's training facility was visited by an outsider for 3 days to analyze how La Masia coaches train young players in 1v1 situations. During a demonstration of a simple feint, the head coach shared an insight that completely shifted conventional thinking about dribbling. Most players think beating a defender is about what you do with the ball, he explained. But the real battle happens in the 2 seconds before you receive it. The greatest dribblers in history, Messi, Ronaldinho, Neymar, Hazard, all follow a core principle that has little to do with footwork. Defenders are manipulated mentally before being challenged physically, creating scenarios where success becomes inevitable rather than merely possible. Before I reveal the complete 1v1 mastery system, I need to destroy 3 myths that are making you predictable to defenders. The first myth is the skill obsession. Players think learning more tricks will make them better at beating opponents. But when you rely on predetermined skill moves, you become predictable. Defenders start recognizing your patterns and positioning themselves to counter your favorite techniques. The second myth is the speed dependency. Players assume they need to be fast to beat defenders consistently. But pace without purpose gets you nowhere. I've watched defenders easily handle players who are significantly faster because speed alone doesn't create the timing and angles necessary for successful dribbling. The third myth is the complexity trap. Players think impressive 1v1 moments require elaborate skill combinations. In reality, the most effective dribblers use simple techniques executed with perfect timing and positioning. Messi's most devastating moves are often just perfectly timed changes of direction that exploit defenders' momentum. Understanding how defenders think is your biggest advantage in 1v1 situations. Professional defenders operate on pattern recognition and probability calculations. They position themselves based on statistical tendencies about which direction attackers typically go, how they react under pressure, and what moves they attempt in specific field positions. Defenders have 3 primary objectives in 1v1 situations. First, they want to delay your attack to allow teammates to recover and provide support. Second, they aim to channel you toward the sideline or away from dangerous areas. Third, they're constantly calculating risk versus reward, choosing when to commit to a tackle versus when to maintain containment. The most successful attackers exploit these mental processes by providing false information that leads defenders into poor decisions. They use body positioning, eye contact, and preliminary movements to suggest one intention while executing another. This isn't deception. It's strategic communication that turns defenders' training against them. Beating defenders consistently requires understanding the physical principles that create unstoppable momentum. Your center of gravity, body angle, and foot positioning determine whether you can change direction faster than your opponent can react. Most players position themselves poorly, making it impossible to execute effective moves regardless of their technical ability. The foundation of all successful 1v1 encounters is the approach angle. Professional attackers rarely approach defenders straight on because this gives defenders maximum time to read intentions and react accordingly. Instead, they create approach angles that force defenders into uncomfortable positions where their balance and reaction time become compromised. Timing your move initiation is more important than the move itself. Defenders are most vulnerable during their deceleration phase, when they're transitioning from backpedaling to forward momentum. This creates a split-second window where their ability to change direction is severely limited, making almost any move effective if executed at the precise moment. Layer 1 is psychological positioning. Before receiving the ball, scan the defender's body language, foot positioning, and weight distribution. Are they on their heels or balls of their feet? Which direction are they leaning? Are they positioned to favor one side? This information determines your approach strategy before the ball arrives. Layer 2 focuses on reception technique. How you receive the ball sets up everything that follows. Professional dribblers use their first touch to create immediate advantages by manipulating the ball into positions that force defenders to make uncomfortable adjustments. Practice receiving with different parts of your foot to create various angles and distances. Layer 3 is tempo manipulation. The most effective dribblers constantly change their movement speed to disrupt defenders' timing. They use sudden acceleration, deceleration, and pauses to create uncertainty about when attacks will begin. This temporal unpredictability makes defending exponentially more difficult. Layer 4 involves distance management. Maintaining optimal distance from defenders gives you maximum options while limiting theirs. Too close, and you can't build momentum. Too far, and they have time to read and react. The perfect distance varies based on your speed, the defender's speed, and the available space. Layer 5 is directional commitment. Once you initiate your move, total commitment is essential. Hesitation allows defenders to recover and regain advantageous positioning. Professional attackers commit fully to their chosen direction, using their entire body to sell the movement and create maximum momentum. Layer 6 covers the exit strategy. Beating the defender is only half the battle. You must immediately transition into your next action, whether that's a shot, pass, or continued dribbling. Practice connecting your 1v1 moves directly into finishing actions to maintain offensive momentum. Layer 7 is failure recovery. Even the best dribblers don't win every 1v1 encounter. Having predetermined recovery plans prevents single failures from destroying entire attacks. Practice transitioning from unsuccessful dribbles into defensive positioning or support play options. Different field positions require different 1v1 approaches. Wide areas offer more space, but limit dangerous outcomes. Central areas provide direct goal threats, but offer defenders more support options. Understanding these contextual factors helps you choose appropriate techniques for specific situations. In the final third, defenders are typically more aggressive because the consequences of being beaten are severe. This aggression creates opportunities for quick, explosive movements that exploit their forward momentum. In midfield areas, defenders often prioritize containment, making patient buildup and sudden direction changes more effective. Defending in numbers changes the entire dynamic. When facing multiple defenders, your goal shifts from beating everyone to creating enough separation to find passing options or draw fouls. Understanding when to take on defenders versus when to use them to create space for teammates is crucial for maintaining offensive flow. The most effective 1v1 moves share common biomechanical principles regardless of their visual appearance. They all involve sudden changes in direction, speed, or both, executed when defenders are least able to respond effectively. Master these principles instead of memorizing specific skills, and you'll be able to adapt to any situation. Body feints are more powerful than ball skills because defenders react to body movement before ball movement. Practice selling direction changes with your entire body, head, shoulders, hips, and feet all working together to create convincing deception. The more authentic your fake direction appears, the more committed the defender becomes to countering it. The most underutilized 1v1 technique is the simple change of pace. Varying your speed forces defenders to constantly adjust their positioning and timing, creating opportunities for breakthrough moments. Practice acceleration and deceleration drills that develop your ability to change gears instantly and unpredictably. Confidence is contagious in 1v1 situations. Defenders can sense hesitation and uncertainty, which makes them more aggressive and confident in their own abilities. Conversely, attackers who approach 1v1s with obvious confidence often find defenders becoming more cautious and reactive. Eye contact and body language communicate intentions before you touch the ball. Professional dribblers use these tools strategically, sometimes making direct eye contact to unsettle defenders, other times avoiding it completely to maintain mystery about their intentions. Learn to read defenders' comfort levels and adjust your psychological approach accordingly. Celebrating successful 1v1s appropriately builds momentum for future encounters. Defenders remember players who consistently beat them, and this psychological history influences their approach in subsequent meetings. Build a reputation as someone who wins these battles, and defenders will start making your job easier through overcautiousness. Week 1 focuses on reception and positioning fundamentals. Practice receiving balls at different angles and distances while maintaining optimal body position relative to imaginary defenders. Use cones to represent defender positions and work on your first touch, setting up various 1v1 scenarios. Week 2 introduces basic movement patterns. Practice simple direction changes, acceleration, and deceleration without worrying about beating specific opponents. Focus on smooth, controlled movements that maintain balance and create momentum in your chosen direction. Week 3 adds passive defender training. Work with partners who provide token resistance while you practice implementing your moves at game speed. This builds timing and confidence while allowing you to refine technique without full defensive pressure. Week 4 implements full-speed opposition training. Practice against defenders trying their best to stop you, replicating game conditions as closely as possible. Focus on decision-making speed and move selection based on defender positioning and reactions. Start implementing your improved 1v1 abilities gradually during matches. Choose lower-risk situations initially to build confidence and timing in real game conditions. As your success rate improves, begin attempting moves in more crucial moments and dangerous field positions. Document your successes and failures to identify patterns in your decision-making and execution. Which moves work best against different defender types? What situations produce your highest success rates? This data helps you make better choices during future encounters. Use successful 1v1s to set up teammates rather than always trying to finish attacks yourself. This approach builds team confidence in your abilities while making defenders uncertain about your ultimate intentions, creating even more space for future encounters. Thanks for watching. Now that you know how to master 1v1s and beat any defender, it's time to hit the pitch and put it into action. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more football tips. See you in the next one.